thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just how the top belongs. It's all you need to do. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just how the top belongs. It's all you need to do. Never thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? So that I counting days until a second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start a doubt the lungs. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? To let out and disappear a second go. If you're gonna make those shades, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just start it up below. It's all you need to do.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with me and John Cooper for another episode of the HOTSPAR. First one of the season, I believe it is.
No,
maybe second one of the. We had one early in the season.
Really
That's right. Yeah, really early on when you were claimed about Harry Kane and all these
and
kinds
it
of
all came
Lucas
true.
Moura. And it didn't all come true because we have to wait and see.
Okay,
it hasn't come true until it has come true, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Still in the middle of still 10 games into the season. Look, a lot has happened since I last spoke to you one-on-one like this.
I know, you ducked
Nuno's
me for a while.
gone. I was away on holiday, and a very conveniently planned holiday. Was that what it was? Yeah. I knew it was
get the holiday in.
Oh, it was another bad performance for Kane. I just need to duck out for
Conte's in. It's like, I can come back.
I can come and wait. I knew as soon as Conte.
It's a renaissance period.
That's why I was away. I was doing the deal. I was getting. I need Kane reinvigorated just so I can win points.
Just so you can come back on this show.
Yeah, just for you. That's all I care about. Winning brownie points against you.
But yeah, second one of the season.
Nuno got sacked after 10 games, 10 Premier League games, 5 wins, 5 defeats. Conte's now been appointed. First of all, let's start with Nuno because he doesn't. No one obviously swept up in all the excitement of the Conte appointment. It's gone under the radar about Nuno has been sacked so early on in his Spurs career. It was it felt inevitable, even though it was so early on in a weird way. 10 games
inevitable.
Like he would be sacked. Like everyone was like all of it. Like as soon as even after one bad game when we played Palace, there was already murmurs like, "Oh, this doesn't look right. Something bad's going on." I, for one, was never calling for Nuno's head publicly because I just felt bad. I didn't want to do that publicly. Like when he's so early in the job, he had all these circumstances to deal with, and we all knew he was like. Ninth
choice.
Exactly. So I felt bad for him. But at the end of the day, the football's turgid. Let's be honest, it was terrible. And when the football's turgid, and then you're getting battered, you can take narrow defeats. 3-0.
It was the 3-0s that did it. I think if you're losing those games 1-0, then you can sort of make a claim that there's still work to be done, and he hasn't got his best team in yet. All that kind of thing. But I think when you're getting smashed at home 3-0, that's the kind of the clincher, isn't it? I think. And it was very early on. I think if that was his first choice, he would have given him more time. But because it was like 9th choice and Conte was like in the wings, I think that was pretty inevitable, wasn't it?
That's the thing. When someone like Conte is available, I think it made the decision of leaving the hierarchy a lot easier to cut our losses with Nuno. But
he did win Manager of the Month.
Amazing.
Month.
First month he wins Manager of the Month.
We will make
3-1 wins. Yeah, exactly. We will make you so proud. So proud.
I so believed that as well. I thought, he's going to come in with some passion. He's going to be a better manager. He's going to be better at nurturing the kind of the prospect players. Maybe get a bit more morale amongst the team. I kind of felt that for the first 3 games. I thought, admittedly, we were just about getting over the line in those, But I still thought as though there could be a bit of a change in the team, the way we're playing. But things changed. And
I don't know whether it was a charisma or he just didn't have the football methodology to get this team upgraded to where we were from last season. But I just felt like, especially in the big games, like he was definitely found massively wanting.
Apart from the City game, I think he played. That was a good game.
Yeah, the City game was really good, but that was clearly. First of all, I think it's fair to say we caught City on an off day at this point. And second of all, we seem to be running massively on adrenaline and high pressure sprints and stuff like that. We defended really well. But even in that game, which we'll go into later, but if you look at like the amount of sprints and distance covered in that game, the City game, which was like the pinnacle of Nuno's career, we still did more in the game against Everton than we did in that City game in terms of working like sprints and distance covered. It was like way more in the Everton game under Conte. Conte's first
that's
game.
why stats don't tell the picture.
But that's just facts.
City game,
that's just facts,
no, but in that City game, it was much more explosive.
No, but my point is in terms of like it seemed like it was a cohesive team working really, really hard, but in the Everton game, we actually ran like double the amount.
Doesn't matter. That Man City game was a much better performance.
Of course it was. Of course, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying in terms of hard work and effort and stuff like that. It seems as though it was even in that game, it was lacking a bit.
I don't know. I think this is where stats let you down. You know, not you, but let people down. You know, I think with the naked eye, you could see that there was more cohesion and there was more running. I think in that City game, I think it was quite laboured against Everton at times. Could you not see that? It was very laboured. It was kind of very almost.
It was, but that
almost
was
at jogging pace. You know.
I felt I felt like the players were still getting used to the physical demands of Conte. I feel like they were kind of on their feet for a lot of that game, and once the more they get used to it, the better it will be.
Yeah.
But Nuno, looking back on
Yeah.
Nuno, do you think that he's like a terrible manager? At the end of it?
You're not going to like this, but and a lot of people are not going to like this, but I think his downfall is the fact that he consistently played Harry Kane and did not.
That was his
him.
downfall.
One of the aspects of it.
What other aspects
well, because
of it?
the first 3 games you win those first 3 games, you're top of the league. Admittedly, we're just about getting over the line, you could say 1-0, but still it was working. The Man City game very explosive, very dynamic. We hadn't really seen that before. I think that was sort of one of the best performances we've actually seen team-wise for a long time. And then bringing Harry Kane back in and seeing that he wasn't performing, I think it did have a negative impact on the rest of the team.
Everyone keeps like you keep saying the first 3 games. Kane played in the first 3 games.
He didn't play in against Man City.
No, but the other 2 he did.
So it's not 3 then, is it?
Yeah, but I'm saying you're saying the first 3 games we looked solid, and then after that we didn't. But he played in those he played in 2 of those 3 games.
The second one he came on 15 minutes at the end.
Which was our best 15 minutes of the game. Yeah.
So he didn't really play.
He did, but he played in our best period in that game. And then against Watford, he started the game against Watford as well.
And after that, you could see that we weren't able to recreate that dynamic, you know, with you would say like that fluid front 3, and we never saw that again. And I do think
we did see it again.
Well,
the next game, and we looked bad.
Which game?
Wolves.
We didn't play well in the Wolves game. We didn't play well in that.
And that
Wolves
was
game.
not.
But I would say that going forward after that and having Harry Kane in the side, I do think that it affected the rest of the team because of his. He didn't either. We can talk about his motivation and the reason why he went out of form, right? But I do think that had an impact on the rest of the team.
It could have had an impact on the rest of the team, but I also think the way Nuno was setting us up wasn't helping matters, especially in the games like against Arsenal where we had like a massive hole in midfield and he just didn't address it. We had within Dombele and Dele just in there.
Yeah.
We're getting completely overrun. That wasn't like down to Kane. The fact of the matter when we're not creating any sort of chances. For any of the strikers, really, even Son, the chances dried up massively for him come the end of Nuno's reign. And I think a lot of that was to do with how we're being set up as a team and how it had to be from the manager's point of view. I wouldn't blame Kane really for it. I think
it's
of the
a contributing factor. I do think that because you've got a player there that's sort of not performing. And, you know, if there's another player in there that's not performing, like, you know, Moura against Wolves, he had a poor game. He was dropped immediately, you know, and then Bergwijn came in, didn't he?
Yeah.
Against Watford.
Yeah.
Right? Was it
Watford, yeah.
So if you have a player that's not performing and everyone else can see it and then they're consistently in the side and he won't even be subbed off, that is going to affect the morale of the team, isn't it?
No, but it's different. It's a bit different when it comes to Kane because Kane has a track record over many, many years.
This is the problem.
I was performing at such a high level that when he's a bit off form for a few games, you've got
a bit off form.
All right, when he's off form for a few games, you let him play. You either drop him or you can let. I think what a lot of managers do with a lot of their top players, they keep them on the pitch to play themselves back into form.
Play them back, and that didn't work. And I think that was Nuno's downfall. He was scared to drop him.
Yeah, he was, but we didn't. The other thing was we didn't have any other options, did we? We don't really have. We have Dane Scarlett, you know what I mean?
But you don't have to play straight. You can play a forward line of 3, you know, a fluid front 3. You know, you can.
We could do that. We could have done that.
You could have reverted back to that City game and played that dynamic. So I do think that was one of Nuno's downfalls in a way. That's not everything, but I think that's an ingredient into it.
I think and when it comes to Kane, I just think he's only human at the end of the day, isn't he? I think we can understand.
I mean, I've got 6 points, if you like. Why
6?
Yeah, I was working out
6 points of what? 6 points of what?
Why his game's not there?
Bullet points or
what?
Bullet
points.
6 bullet points.
Yeah, do you want to go?
Why Kane's? Okay, I can refute these.
Do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, we'll see if I refute them. All right, go for it.
See if I can trigger you.
All right.
All right.
6 reasons why
If
Kane.
I can remember them.
All right, go on. Point number one.
One is...
Is this from list of importance? Or
No, this is in any order.
Completely
This is
no
in any
order.
You tell
okay.
me what you think. You can
Okay.
grade these if you like.
Okay, I'll grade them.
The first one is I think he was battle scarred from the Euros.
Okay, I can agree with that.
I do think that affected him, even though he's meant to be a professional, you're meant to get over it. And, you know, on TalkSport, they were saying that, you know, come on, if this was like Djokovic, you know, if you're a winner, then you go into the next game and, you win the next tournament or whatever. But it's not that's a bit of a false equivalency because, you know, that's a singles game. This is a team game, you know. And I think he's got close so many times.
Yeah.
And that for him was the game that's like all the disappointment of losing in finals and semi-finals in the past. This is the one where he makes up for it as captain. You know, his dream is fulfilled and his legacy is kind of intact. Losing that one, I do think that kind of he developed a battle scarf, a big old battle scarf.
Yeah.
On that. On top of all the missed fight, the losing finals,
Champions League finals, all that kind of stuff.
I do think that
added
played
on
a
to that.
part.
I agree with you, and I added to that point. If you look at the actually rest of the England squad who played in the Euros, you know, there's Sancho, Saka, there's Sterling, there's a number of players in right now. Maguire is a big one, who had very good Euros, but they had terrible starts to the season because I think maybe it's a bit of a hangover. I don't think Kane's the only one in that sense.
Yeah, there's a fallout.
Yeah, there's a bit of fallout. And I think but Kane specifically,
Kane
because
as
he's been
well.
to so many
And
finals.
he's a senior player now, so
Yeah.
you know, and it's almost people making jokes about him not winning trophies. So it is playing on his mind
Definitely.
more. It would be more so than the younger players, right?
Yeah, okay, fine.
And I also think that not getting his move, the transfer saga, you know, if we are to believe that he want, you know, that move was really on, you know.
I think he definitely wanted it. What I would say about that is, yes, he didn't get his move, which obviously must affect him, but it's the way that he's been made to stay, in a sense that he was frustrated with how reliant we were on him. He was frustrated with the direction the club were going. The club were going.
These are your 6 points now.
Huh? No, I'm just saying, just on that specific point. But the thing is, we didn't keep him and then have an ambitious managerial appointment and then have a really serious investment in the squad and like convincing him.
Yeah, it wasn't convincing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one of my next.
Yeah,
ones.
we kind of kept him.
Yeah.
And then everything got worse.
I know.
From a club point of view. And I said to you,
the
only way of keeping Kane works is if someone like Conte comes in. Like someone ambitious who can get him believing again, because otherwise it's not going to work, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, exactly. No, we said that. We said if what did we say when on our very first hotspot? I'll have to go and watch it back. But we said if Joseph's there, he's more likely to stay, didn't we?
Yeah,
that's what we said.
We said that.
So that's So then the next. So would you agree? The transfer saga that is going to affect him. I think.
Of course, he's only human.
I think he came out and said that affected him mentally.
No, he said the Euros affected him mentally. He said in terms of speculation, he said, "This is the first time there's been serious speculation about me over a summer, but I feel like I've coped with it well."
Okay, I read that. I read the BBC article. It's slightly different,
right,
but yeah, I think that's another factor for him. Yeah, are you going to grade these or not?
Okay, keep going.
Then the other one is you just touched on it there. Going back into a Spurs team where we can see it's not on a trajectory, an upward trajectory, it's on a downward trajectory, or it's like he has to go through the whole like rebuilding of like the, you know, he has to start the cycle again, you know, like the transition all over again. And I don't think he's ready for that. He's ready for things to be galvanized and things to be, you know, ready to succeed, and it's having to go right back to basics again. So I think that's demotivating for him as well, to have to sort of start all over again with like new prospects coming into the squad, you know. So I think that's going to affect it as well. How many up to? 3? I'm sure
that was 4.
Is that 4 now?
Yeah, so 2 more.
2 more. I think that another reason is just form. I just think the tail end of the second half of last season, I did notice his
Actually,
game
after
dip.
Mourinho got sacked, his tailed off a bit, didn't it? After Mourinho got sacked at the back end last season.
Well, no, even before that, I noticed his performances was going.
No, he
down
was
a
still
little bit.
scoring.
He was still scoring, but I could see that it was nowhere near the athleticism. Well, not even athleticism. It wasn't as sharp. The sharpness wasn't there from the first half of the season. I definitely noticed that as the season went on. So I don't really feel as though it's completely fallen off. The wheels have completely fallen off. I kind of saw it from the end of last season. So I do think it's just a form thing anyway. And then injuries as well. I think the injuries are playing a part. Catching up with him. I think he's got a lot of miles on the clock, even though he kind of started a little bit late. I think he's been flat out for a lot of the seasons, isn't he? And I think his athleticism is going. I can see that every new season, I can see his athleticism is going. pace is going, his athleticism is going. You know, he's
never a player who relied on pace though.
But do you know what? He did have pace when he first came into the
like
side.
an average pace, but yeah.
No, he was actually. If you got,
wasn't
I know
rapid.
when you look back, you think he was never a fast player. Like,
No, he wasn't.
Sheringham, but he used to run with the ball from the halfway line with players around him. He used to get to the box without any.
Yeah.
You know, he can't do that now.
No.
So he did have a bit more of explosiveness. Like his first touch out of his feet was a little bit more explosive. You know, a few seasons ago. But so I would say that, and then also the final thing. I just don't think he's as good as I don't think he's world class. That's just my opinion.
In general, he's never been world
anymore.
class.
I just don't think he is.
But he's never been world class.
I think he was. Yeah.
You think he was?
Yeah, we've already had this many times. 2014 to end of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember Match of the Day. They used to Danny Murphy when he first came on the scene. They said he looks the perfect player. I can't see any flaws in his game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Pace, aggression, goal scoring, shots from outside, everything. But now you can, if you look at his game, you can pick holes out in it a lot more now.
Yeah, probably. But it doesn't mean he can't. He's had a very bad start to the season, the hangover from the summer, all those kind of things. But I think in terms of quality, injuries, all that kind of stuff, and physicality, for me, I don't think that's part of it. I think it's all purely mental. There's
another point as well, but go on.
Go
on. And there might be a part of him that goes, Levy didn't get this over the line for me, so I am going to maybe, I'm not going to be totally at my best, because why should I be? I think
he was probably just as frustrated as a lot of fans were, basically. He's a Tottenham fan. So like he's also like, when we're frustrated that we're not looking ambitious and we're not going the right direction, he's also frustrated at that kind of stuff. So of course, he's only a human, and I feel like at his age he needs to really believe in a project if he's going to be performing at the top level. And he didn't believe in the Spurs one.
He is only human, yeah.
But he didn't believe in it in the summer, and then we didn't give him any reason to believe in it until now. Because I think everything changes with Conte. I really believe that.
You think that?
I think that. I think if you look at what he did with Lukaku was a striker going nowhere before Conte came in. He had just been at United 2 years, really average, like people were saying he was finished, or a really average striker. He was overweight and all these kind of things, and people were saying he'd lost it. But he turned him into one of the best strikers in Europe again, Conte and Lukaku, just after with 1 year with him. And I think Conte.
It's a different league though, as well.
Doesn't matter. He did it with Diego Costa.
I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's done it with other strikers as well. I think he's the perfect man to really. He's got the winner's mentality that Kane needs. Kane needs someone who is on his wavelength. That losing is unacceptable. These standards are unacceptable to fall below. Whereas Nuno wasn't charismatic enough to be that guy. But Conte is like, I think for the first time in a few months, Kane isn't the biggest guy in the dressing room anymore.
Do you think this
Conte is now the biggest guy in the dressing room?
Yeah, I agree.
Kane was bigger than Nuno. Conte is bigger than Kane.
That's the problem.
It was a problem. Of course it was a problem. Of course it was a problem. But Conte's eliminated that problem. He's the perfect striker to get him to his. He's going to get him at his fittest. He's going to get him at his sharpest, and he's going to get him playing at his best. I am 200% sure of that, and I'm telling you right now.
I don't.
I'm telling you right now, it's not a form thing. It's not a thing that he's a massive decline and he's never going to be the player he was. He will be. He can 100% hit the heights he got to last season and previous seasons. I'm 200% sure.
You think he can get 55 goals in a calendar?
Yeah, he can.
No,
he can.
No chance.
I'm telling you, he can.
No chance.
He can.
No way.
If Lewandowski can at 34, Kane can at 28.
He can't reach those heights anymore.
Can.
Goal scoring.
I'm telling you right now, he can.
Definitely go back to the play he was last year in terms of being the all-round team player, and like being the one that drops a little bit deeper and like spreads.
You know what Conte said about him? Conte in the summer. Conte said about him. He was a pundit at the Euros, and he said, everyone talks about how Kane is so great dropping deep and playing passes and everything. But if I was managing him, I would have him in the box all game because he's an absolute killer in the box, and that's where he makes the difference, and that's why I would have him, and that's what I think he's going to do. He's going to get Kane into the box as much as possible. As much as Kane has been dropping deep and doing great stuff. Yeah. Which has obviously filled our lack of creativity, and then arriving late in the box and still scoring tons of goals. I think we need the midfielders to do their bloody job, and then he can remain up front and be where he's at his best, which is in the box, finishing, getting tap-ins, getting on the end of things, and also clinical finishes from all angles. That is what Kane has always been his best at. That's what he needs to get back to. And as much as I think every now and then he should drop back and make a difference there. That shouldn't be his total game like it has become. And I think he can do that great as a hybrid and can use it as a tool, as a tactical tool. Maybe some games he does just all the time drop back and if there's a hole in midfield, whatever. But Conte's going to get him to be that penalty box striker again, I'm telling you. And he knows how to deal with strikers who are out of form and getting the best out of them. And he is a master man motivator and a coach. Master.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. I've just got this feeling that it's not going to pan out that way.
Why?
You know? Just from what I'm seeing, I mean, he just.
Do you think getting Conte eliminate? Sorry, let me just before you go on that.
Before you answer.
No, because it's more important.
All right.
Do you think getting Conte eliminates his motivation standpoint?
That was my
when you
question
say
to you. Actually, I was going to say, do you think this has completely reinvigorated him? Just having Conte back, or do you think that because we're in a position where even if he was to score 30 goals, just hypothetically, that still might not guarantee like top 4, for instance, right? Do you think that's not going to be slightly demotivating?
No, because Conte won't allow it to happen. I'm telling you, Conte will get into him. Well, then he'll be sold if he doesn't. But he will be sold. Conte will be sold. But it will eliminate that demotivating factor 100%.
Do you remember when we just signed Jose Mourinho and your argument was he's a serial winner?
Yeah.
He's definitely going to win us trophies. This is Jose. Yeah. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And you were like, it doesn't really matter like what happens. We know he's going to win us a trophy. Where, even the style of football, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what for you's changed with Conte then?
Conte's not so basically Mourinho.
Compare that to when we
first of all,
Mourinho.
when in terms of Kane or Tottenham?
No, nothing about Kane.
Not by Kane.
No, sorry, I just wanted to this may be a tangent then.
Okay.
But in terms of like Conte coming in. When we appointed Mourinho, you said he's a serial winner. He's definitely going to win us trophies.
Yes.
Now you're saying it. I guess you're saying it about Conte now.
Yes.
But what's the difference between those two appointments?
The difference between Conte and Mourinho is very much a manager in the sense that he, for example, the players he had at Inter Milan, Real Madrid, and Chelsea, he didn't have to focus on coaching these players so much. He was very much focused on managing and tactically giving them tactical. Analysis and all that kind of stuff. He was a tactical manager. He'd rely all the time, as you've heard about at Tottenham at Spurs. He doesn't rely on fitness and all that kind of stuff. He's just purely about the tactics, how they're going to set up, all these kind of things. And that's great when you've got unbelievable players like Chelsea, Inter Milan did, Real Madrid. But Antonio Conte is a much, much better coach. He coaches players to be better than they are. Mourinho doesn't do that. He doesn't coach players to be better than they are. He coaches them to be the best they like to. He can get the best out of the very good players. But there's no coincidence that the average players at Tottenham got worse because he doesn't coach them to be better. He coaches them to play as they are, kind of. And if you're Harry Kane, playing as you are is great. But
did you know that? Did you know that when we appointed Mourinho? Did you learn that?
Yes, we did. But I thought the squad probably thought was maybe better than it was. Basically, we just come to Champions League final. I thought maybe he could galvanise us again, maybe go top 4 and win us a trophy. Unfortunately, the squad had declined so much. More than I'd thought, and that's why Mourinho probably didn't work out. That's what I'm saying. But
so you have more confidence in Conte now being like the better man manager and nurturing.
Not just man manager, it's the coaching side. He can coach players to be better. For example, you coached Victor Moses to be a title-winning right wing back. He was cast aside at Chelsea before he came. He'd been on loan like 3 or 4 times. No one wanted to see him at all. He was a winger. He was an attacking winger when he joined. Conte came. He played him at right wing back, and he coached him to be the best right wing back in the league that season, and they won the league. It was an unbelievable piece of coaching, and that's the difference to someone like Conte and Mourinho. Conte can take your game on and make you improve. Someone like Hakimi when he joined Inter Milan, he was a decent fullback, but he turned him into one of the best wing backs in Europe of just by coaching him, taking him on levels. That's the difference between Mourinho and Conte. Mourinho's more of a manager, Conte's more of a coach.
Do you think he can improve Kane?
Do I think he can improve Kane? I think he doesn't need to. He just needs to get the best out of him. He doesn't need to improve Kane. He can improve Kane in terms of how he's been playing in the first 10 games, but he doesn't. The key to Kane isn't about improving him. It's about just getting the best out of what he is, and that will be enough. That will be more than enough.
Levels,
yes, that will be more than enough.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking having Conte is the only appointment really we could have made of the managers available that could get Kane back on side. I think that's probably part of the reason we made the appointment, and also it's part of the reason Conte agreed to come. Part of the reason the deal fell through is because he wasn't given assurances Kane was going to stay. So when I say how much of a pull someone like Kane has, and Kane is the reason Conte is here, it's because Conte is only here because Kane stayed.
So do you think he's going to stay now?
Yes, and I think it's very look. It's nothing in set in stone, right, in football. But I think if I was betting man, I think there's a very good chance that he signs a new contract. Not right away, but in the future, in the end, but before the end of this season, he could sign a new contract. I think there was a chance he could have moved to Man City had the deal been there. I think that deal has now gone, and I think his chance for a big move might have gone now. And I think he might know that.
What do you think he's worth now?
I still think he's worth what he was worth in the summer.
Well, what was he worth? Because what was offered to Spurs?
Maybe his value's gone down a bit. It's still about 130 million for sure.
You think it's
100%. 100%. He's a world-class striker, world-class player. Any team would be lucky to have him. That's my opinion. I know he's been in bad form, but so have a lot of players.
Do you think he's got if he does continue to play the way he's playing?
Yes. Okay.
Do you think Conte's got the balls to drop him?
For sure. If he
no. Do you think he would though?
If he feels like he's not contributing to the team, 100%. Yeah, he will. He'll drop him, and he'll play two other players up front. Yeah, and he would have no problem doing that.
You don't think his reputation's got to such a level now where he's undroppable?
Not for someone like Conte. Under Mourinho, you could say not someone like Mourinho either, but under Mourinho, he was brilliant. Like no reason to drop him, so he was never tested.
Yeah.
So under Conte, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I think he will get the best out of Kane.
Yeah.
Kane will be firing again. Kane isn't one of these players to purposely down tools. It's just the motivation wasn't there for him for the first part of the season because of all these external factors. But I think Conte solves a lot of it. I really believe it. Having a manager like that, the energy he exudes, it will light up the squad. It will.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
Do you think?
Do you want to? Yeah.
Go on, Conte.
I was just going to say. So, what do you reckon then? Do you think
Conte
with Conte, trophy-wise, and how long will it take? Do you think?
I reckon he could win in the short term. He could win a trophy, a domestic one. He won the FA Cup, but even in his worst season at Chelsea, he won the FA Cup, like when they were bad. So I think he could definitely in his first season at Inter Milan, he got to Europa League final, and when they finished second.
But I think, don't you think though, when you're applying that to Spurs, you can't really make those kind of parallels because
I tell you why you can.
Circumstances are different, aren't they?
Yeah, but you can't. But you don't have to be a great team to win a cup. You don't have to be you can it's all about on the day, your tactics on the day and how and that can be the difference maker, and obviously having a kind run. But I think he maybe over consistently right now over a whole season he wouldn't be able to get us challenging yet for a title or anything like that. But over a short amount of games in a cup format like a League Cup or the FA Cup, he could definitely get us through. I think we could definitely win a domestic trophy under him. Even this season.
I think we've got a chance of the League Cup.
I think even this season, FA Cup or League Cup, he could win one of them.
I still think we've got a bit of a mental block with the FA Cup, if I'm being honest.
But I think League Cup, Conte can sort that out.
Yeah. But we always think...
Obviously, he's not going to be a catch-all. He's not going to be a miracle worker.
I don't think that just your success is completely 100% dependent on the manager that comes in. I know a lot of people think of it like that. But I think the infrastructure with the club at the moment, I just think that the conditions aren't, right for even the best managers in the world to come into Spurs.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's like I gave this analogy earlier. You have the best restaurant, with the best Michelin star chefs. If you give them crap ingredients, there's only so much they can do.
Yeah.
And I think that we've seen this 20 years. You can't say all of those managers are rubbish over 20 years.
Who said? Yeah, I never said that.
Well, we haven't won a trophy.
Yeah, I just said you don't have to be a good team to win a trophy.
Yeah. So this problem goes beyond the manager, and there's only so much the managers can do.
Yeah.
They're only a certain part of the pie.
He has a proven track record in cup competitions of getting teams, even when they're not playing well in the league, to actually in short space of time to improve their performances in cup competitions, so it can get them to finals and drag them through.
Do you know what? So was Juan de Ramos, actually, funny enough.
When he won us a cup, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, yeah. But I just think that for me, it's a no-lose situation here, because I think just before we appointed, you there?
Go on.
Are you tweeting?
No, I'm just looking at the Twitter. I'm looking at the HOTSPAR Twitter stuff.
There was a big effort to put pressure on Levy.
Yep.
And I think if this doesn't work with Conte now, I think Levy's going to have to realise that he is the common denominator. You know, Jose won trophies at every other club he's been at, not a Spurs. Levy's thinking,
Did sack him just for a final, though.
Yeah, but you know, he's you know, surely you've got to be thinking, maybe I'm the common denominator there. And then if Conte doesn't win anything, I think the whole fan base, or I would say the majority of the fan base, is going to realise that this is a situation where we might never win a trophy, even with the best managers coming in, because just the infrastructure's not right. The finance, you know, the way we're. You know,
I mean, he probably should realise.
I
think he's already realised it. The fact that he gave Football Matters to Paratici in the summer, goes a long way to realising. Yeah. We need to start getting it right now.
So for me, it's a no lose situation, because if we do something with Conte, great. If we don't, I think Levy's going to have to realise that the buck stops with him.
But in terms of a managerial appointment to show ambition to where you want to be, there's no one better than Conte that I could have picked. So there's no, I can't complain at the board for hiring Conte. You know what I mean? I can't say anything to them.
I think this kept the Wolves at bay.
Yeah, and it's no surprise
because it was such a good appointment.
You know, at Man United, the home game, what was being chanted? Levy out. All the fans were chanting Levy out.
But this is like warded it off now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why he had to do something.
He had to do it. He had to pull out a big card here.
And this is a Hail Mary. It was a Hail Mary, basically.
Yeah, that's a good expression. Yeah, it is. So I think either
he's
way,
like he's like a
club.
He's like a wounded animal backed into a corner, and he's just striking out, and he's just doing anything he can.
Rat.
Exactly,
rat. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what Levy is right now, in a way.
He looks a bit like a cornered rat.
No, but that's what the Conte appointment is. And
if he doesn't win trophies, though,
I think it's proof that that's what the Conte appointment is. By the fact that our priorities in the summer couldn't get Conte through the door, but all of a sudden that's all changed.
Yeah,
is that not proof that surely that surely is
he's
like
gone all in with his poker chips?
Yeah, because I think in the summer he was probably still playing the game like, you're only not going to have that much to spend. Yeah. We don't know if Kane's going to stay. Like all this kind of stuff. Like he's playing all these like delicate things, like in terms of trying to negotiate with the manager instead of actually just going he's like, you can only have this amount of staff if you come here.
He's always trying to do things. I'm saying corners.
When Conte, one of the things that broke down the Conte deal was that Conte wanted an X amount of staff, and Levy didn't allow him all the staff he wanted. He said you could only have less amount of staff. So there's all these things that happened in the summer that broke the deal down with Conte. And then obviously we allowed Nuno, who's a much cheaper, coincidentally, much cheaper option, a mediocre option. And then all of a sudden, after 10 games, people are chanting Levy out. Yeah. And all of a sudden, we've struck a deal. Yeah. We've struck a deal with Conte. Yeah. What's changed? Yeah. What's changed? It's the priorities of Levy. It's him basically saying, shit, it's basically like he's like, shit, I need to do something. I'll give you anything you want. Just come because
I know, I felt that as
well.
But
that just goes to show where the priorities were at in the summer. Not they weren't to be ambitious, basically, like they are. Like hopefully, we're hoping they are now.
If we know the exact reasons why he didn't wasn't.
We know snippets. We don't know exactly. We weren't in the boardroom, obviously, but we know a few things.
So, how do you think things are going to pan out in the next, let's say, 3 seasons? How do you see it going?
I think,
or actually before that, how do you see the rest of the season going?
I think this season we probably don't get going fully. We probably have some up and down games up until maybe February time. I think come February time we'll start playing consistently well. That's what's February? 2 months time, 3 months time.
Yeah.
So in about 3 months we'll probably have some up and down games, and then we'll start probably playing pretty consistently in February. Have a good end to the season, I reckon. Maybe even a cup push potentially, and I reckon either we get to a semi-final or a final, or even win a cup and finish around 5th. I would say this season.
5th, okay,
probably around 5th or 6th, probably 5th. I would say. Yeah. Because I reckon we probably finish above the likes of Leicester and West Ham and Arsenal. Yeah. But I for some reason I reckon United fire Ollie, get a manager in, and probably finish above us because their squad is just levels above us at the moment. Yeah. Next season, I think we have a challenge on top 4, and hopefully with some investment, we get some serious investment. And we probably make it into the top 4 next year, and then the following season, I reckon City and Liverpool might well be in transition because Klopp might leave, I think, and Pep definitely is going to leave. This is he's already confirmed he's not signing a new contract. So they're in transit. They're going to be in transition. They've obviously got Man United, who we don't know what state they're going to be in then. And I reckon that's when we make a title challenge.
Really?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
How much money is it going to take? And do you think the money is going to be available?
Well, I think look, the money, in terms of how we've been run, the money we can spend money. It's about having the money, like in a way, if you understand. Like through financial fair play, we have the ability to spend 400 million if we had 400 million in the bank.
But will he though? Given what you just said there about his back's to the wall, he's like a cornered rat. Do you think
he won't spend 400, but he will splash out
do you
on a
think
few?
He's going to splash out now as well?
Maybe in the summer, not in January. I think in January we'll make a few smart signings. I don't think it'll be big ones, but I think in the summer you'll see some big ones. I think a full season in the stadium, plus all the concerts and everything at NFL, all that kind of stuff. I think that will start to reap its benefits in the summer. I really believe that, and then we're going to start to spend. I think that is going to happen in the summer.
Okay.
That's my prediction. That's when we start making inroads to top four.
This one day where it comes, don't we?
Yeah, we have absolutely, and I think hopefully it might be coming. And that's we have had a decade of big profits, so hopefully that has to somewhere start leading to money being spent, and I'm hoping it's this summer. That's probably how I would see it. What do you think? What's your prediction?
Well, I thought
you called it pretty spot on with Jose.
Well, I mean, why couldn't he invest with Jose then?
Because the pandemic hit, didn't it?
Yeah, but I just don't think that's enough of an excuse. I don't. We've seen over the last 20 years that he's reluctant. It's always about, for him, his blueprint is sustainability.
Yeah.
And I think that's his constant blueprint, and that's why we are always the bridesmaids and never the brides.
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing. I don't think he's suddenly going to go, now I'm going to suddenly, up it.
We're never going to spend City levels or Chelsea levels. That's not going to happen. But I do think there will be a time where we won't always skimp out on a few million for a top target that we want, I think. And I'm hoping that's this summer. Like a few times, for example, when...
Don't you think a leopard doesn't change its spots?
I don't think he's going to change his spot. I don't think he's going to spend silly money for the sake of it. But I do think if, for example...
You think one day he's going to feel flush and just...
No, I just think, for example, the Skriniar deal.
Yeah.
Right? If that happens again in the summer, he'll go for it, as opposed to saying, oh, we'll only pay 30 instead of 35, like kind of thing. Like, I think that might start to change a bit. I don't think we're going to start spending 200 million in a window. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that, from that point of view, he's never going to overextend himself and have a bit of risk. But I do think he might push the boat out a little. Once the money starts coming in from the stadium and everything. That's what I'm hoping for.
Hope you're right.
Do you know? But you think the whole thing is... I don't
see that happening.
You think it's destined to fail, the Conte thing?
No, I don't think it's destined to fail. I said before, I think that there's a chance that we could, win a League Cup or something like that. I think we're still a long way away from the top teams, though, and and as they keep investing with a lot more in each transfer window, it's only going to put us, unless we just get lucky and we have a pot, we did under Poch, and we got the players coming through, and we timed it perfectly. We did it on a shoestring. There's a bit of luck involved, but also it was just, he squeezed out the best he could with what we had, right? But I think we can win trophies under Conte, but I just think with Levy there and the whole setup, the conditions aren't in place, and I think he's got his work cut out, Conte.
In terms of Conte, though, in his last two jobs at Chelsea, he had a falling out with the board and ended up leaving because of transfers that had been made. And under Inter Milan, he literally just resigned in the summer because because of the financials of the club, because they had to sell all their best players because they were very short of money, and he knew they were going to sell Lukaku and Hakimi and some of his top players. So is he really going to join us if Levy's telling him that money's going to be really tight and he's not going to have any money to spend? He's going to have to work with what he has.
That's the thing.
Do you think he would have? Do you reckon either Levy's lying or Levy's up front and Conte has joined us on those assurances, or what do you think the situation is?
I just think he's got a good salary. You know what I mean? He's been given a.
You just think that's good enough, but you don't think it could. You think someone like Conte might risk his reputation?
He's going to risk his legacy. No, I know what you're saying.
There's a reason he turned us down in the summer. You know what I mean? He doesn't turn us down in the summer if things were. If I'm sure we offered him the same salary in the summer. You know what I mean? It's not purely. He doesn't make decisions purely based on money, Conte. I don't think in terms of money for himself. He's very, very much with a view of is the team going to be competitive, and am I going to get the resources to improve things?
It's 18 months, isn't it?
With a year extension, if possible, if we want.
So he's going to gauge it. That's actually quite a short contract, isn't it, compared to previous?
It is. We actually have four matches
on 2023, 2023,
yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you think? You think it's just the salary and he doesn't care about anything else?
I still think he can do a lot with the players. He obviously sees a lot in Kane. He sees him as the world-class player. He can do a lot with him. He still sees a lot of star players in there. I'm sure he thinks that there's a lot of potential in that team anyway. He probably doesn't think it's that much of an overhaul to get the team back up where where we know it could be. But I think at the end of the 18 months, let's say, if we haven't won any trophies and we're still kind of languishing in these kind of Europa League positions, I think, if he does go at that point, I think then you've got to point arrows at Levy then, because you've given it a go with, let's say, one of the best elite managers in the world. It hasn't worked. Why hasn't it worked? And then that's what I'm saying. It's a no-lose situation, because then I think at that point he is the common denominator then, and then we can hopefully change things up at the very top. I think that's what we ultimately need with this club.
Need a shake
not
up.
just the conveyor belt of managers, as good as they are, a lot of them.
Just plasters put over the real problem.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't put lipstick on a pig.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of going into the season now, he's had 2 games, Conte, and we've played 3 at the back. 3-4-3 kind of formation. That's what he likes to use. What players do you think, when you look at the squad, might either be the winners or the losers of how Conte likes to play?
What do you mean by that? Who's coming out of the team?
Either who might come into the team,
who might shine,
you might not expect to shine in this team, and who might be maybe a full guy who's been maybe more of a first teamer. Do you think?
I know where you're going with that.
I'm asking, just for asking.
I know where you're going with that one. Yeah, Mora could be one that he drops out.
You think so?
Yeah, he could do, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
And I actually think that you're like this. I reckon you might see Winks a lot more.
Why? Why'd you say that?
I've got a feeling he might start playing Winks.
Why, though? Do you think Winks in the centre midfield could...
Not that I want to see it.
Yeah.
But I think he might start playing him a little bit more, especially in sort of the lesser games. And then he might start looking okay. He will earn his place in the Premier League, and then he might do okay for a couple of games. And I think he might get a little run in the side. And... yeah, and then people at that point are going to go, do you know what? He's pretty good again.
Not bad.
And then it's like reset the clock again a little bit.
Exactly.
And then it will take a season and a half for him to realise, and then he'll get dropped again. But
he's actually not.
But I think he might see Winks come back in. Not that I want to see that.
Why do you think Mora might drop out?
I think he might sacrifice Mora because of the system and the wing back. Playing the wing backs quite high up. I think Mora might. Is that what you mean by full guy? Yeah,
someone who in the team who's either regular
or now, who might not be.
Yeah,
I can maybe see that.
I think
obviously I don't want that
because he likes to play. To be honest, Mora started both his games, hasn't he? But he's been playing a 3-4-3 for the first few games. I think the rumours are he's going to change to 3-5-2, basically with 2 up front and 3 centre mids, and in that system, Mora is is the one who has to be left, unless he's dropping Kane and play Son and Lucas up front, which I guess you could do. I think he's going to go with Kane and Son, which obviously is the best partnership.
Yeah.
Would you be unhappy if that was to be the case?
Well, I just think Mora's had a great season so far. I think he's been our best player. I know Son's scored the most amount of goals, but I do think his performances have been a bit flat. Sonny's, apart from maybe the Villa game and the odd moment he does still look quite jaded, and he was second half of last season as well. So I like Mora, I do, and I think he goes a little bit under the radar, his performances, and I think he plays with heart. I think he's the only one that's really playing with heart in the team, even when we're playing badly. So I don't want to see that, but I can see him doing that.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to shine? Who do you think's going to be like the one that comes on the most?
I think short term it might well be Ben Davis.
Really?
Might well be Ben Davis in the short term, because I think he's going to.
How much more? How much of a ceiling has he got though?
No, he doesn't have an amazing ceiling, but he is. I think first of all, he's probably the player most comfortable in the squad playing in that left centre back role. He's probably more comfortable.
Seems to like him there.
Yeah, I think he's more comfortable than any other player there. I think because he's a natural left back. He's like when if Reguilon is caught out of position, he's very comfortable filling in the left back spot, coming on the left hand side. He also doesn't have the responsibility to always be going forward and have that always being caught out of position, because he doesn't have the pace to get back in position all the time when he's being tasked to go up and down the wing. And he doesn't have to do that when he's left hand. He just stays at the back in the centre and just can patrol that area. I think he had that at Chelsea when he made Azpilicueta a centre back when he was a natural fullback before that, and he kind of turned Azpilicueta into a centre back who was obviously a different level to Ben Davies, but in terms of profile of player as a centre back, he's quite similar, very short but like very decent defensive like ability.
Are you happy with that?
In the short term, I think we're going to see a much better Ben Davies. I think we are. I think we're going to see a Ben Davies play a lot better than he played in the past couple of years. I don't think he's ever going to be the long-term solution, but I do think in the short term, he is going to be a player who is probably forgotten about, but Conte is going to bring back into the fold, and we're going to see a different level to him, I think. Because for Wales, he plays left centre-back, and he's brilliant there. He's very good for Wales there, and so he's used to playing there. And I think I think in that position, I can't see anyone else but Davies playing there.
I put Dyer in there, you know.
You think Dyer?
I would have Dyer on the left, I'd have Romero in the centre, and then you could even have Tanganga on the right side. That would be my my preference.
I think he likes a left footer there, maybe potentially. I just think Davies, because he was a fullback, when you give him time and space on the ball, he can pick out a pass for you as well. So he's actually not terrible at, he's not an unbelievable passer, but he's not terrible at breaking the lines when he's got time, and he's going to have a lot of time on the ball when he's playing in that left centre back role. And he can switch play decently. He can play a forward pass.
Really like championing.
No, I'm saying Davies could be a good player in the short term, not the long term.
I think
the short term
going to be a great player.
I never said he's going to be a great player.
Yeah, he's never going to be. He's never. I don't. But you're saying he's going to come on.
He'll come on. He'll come on in the short term.
This is his career.
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to do this, is it?
No. I think it's like.
Really?
Yeah.
You think?
Tiny little.
I just think his whole career is that. That is Davies.
I think for the next few months you might see a very good Ben Davies at left centre back, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be like. He's going to be like. He's going to be so good that we don't need to sign anyone in the summer, but he'll be much better than he was.
All right. Okay, so that's Davies. Who else do you think is going to shine?
I think the fullbacks, Reguilon and Emerson, in the wing back positions. I think they're both going to become very strong players for us. He emphasises, especially in the 5-3-2 formation. He emphasises a lot on the wing backs to attack and join the attack, and they become de facto wingers even at times in his role. Even so much so that he used to play wingers in those roles. Like, as I said, Moses, Perisic, he used to play. He used to play them as fake for wing backs and actually play them on the wing as an extra attacker. So I think Reguilon and Emerson, if they can improve their final output and their shooting and just contributing to goals and assists, we know they have the energy to run up and down those wing backs all day and all night. So
do you think Reguilon's going to get his form back from the first third of last season?
I think, and then some.
Really?
I think and then some.
Yeah.
I think he'll be much better than he was. It'll take a bit of time because fullbacks, he coaches them quite intensely, so it'll take a bit of time to really get to form where we want him to be. But I reckon, given a few weeks, he's going to be one of the top left. You're going to see him as one of the top wing backs in the country, I reckon.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I think. I think Conte's going to.
You can see he's growing into the season anyway, so you can see potentially he's got more room for growth, more so than like a Davies.
Exactly. No, Davies is not going to grow, but in terms of being a reliable choice, that's why I just think he's going to pick him there.
All right.
So I think the wing backs, and then obviously I think Kane's going to be one of the big winners out of it.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think Kane and Son, really. I think because he's going to play them up front together. That's what he's going to do, and he's been very good with strike partnerships, really good. He used to have Llorente and Carlos Tevez for Juventus, and they were brilliant together. He had Martinez and Lukaku for Inter Milan, and they were one of the best partnerships in Europe. And obviously, he's got a ready-made partnership.
Because I would say though, this season they don't get their heads up and look for each other like they did last season. Yeah, Kane. It's almost like they've reverted back to how they were. When they get a chance, they'll go for it on their own. Do you know what I mean? Last season they start to look for each other a little bit more. They got their head up now. You know, it's almost like there's something a little bit prickly between them.
I don't think so. I just think if first of all the team structure was terrible, and I think if you saw the way Lukaku and Martinez linked up for Inter Milan last season, it will get you very excited about what he could do with Kane and Son. Very excited.
What are you predicting for those two this season then?
I reckon they're going to start firing soon. both of them. Not immediately. I still think it's going to take a few weeks to really get into the Conte system going, because international break, and he's very intense manager, Conte. But once we get going, I think we might make a late charge for top 4 and probably just miss out, because I just think we'll probably be a bit too inconsistent. We'll either just make it or just miss out. It'll be a close one, I reckon. Now we've got Conte, makes all the difference. But then, and I think we'll have a cup run, we'll make it to a semi-final or a final or something. And I think we will start to see the roots of a Conte team come the end of the season.
By February.
Yeah, I think so. I think from February to the end of the season, we're going to go on a good run, I reckon. We'll go on a strong run and we'll impress a few people, but it might not be enough to get top 4 at this point.
I still think 6th, if I'm being honest.
Who's going to finish above us? In terms of, so you got the top 4, and then who's the other one? Arsenal, West Ham, Leicester. West Ham are looking pretty good, to be honest.
Could even be West Ham, you know. Yeah.
You reckon they're above us this season?
It depends. I mean, they seem to have a little bit. They're playing with a lot more cohesion, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. What about?
I just think 6th is about where I see us finishing.
What about the Conference League? do you reckon we can win that?
I'm a bit with you on that one. I wish that was just a bit of a one that you sacrificed.
Yeah.
Because I think you can't spread yourself too thinly over all these competitions and expect to have a good league campaign. I think, even when we're under Poch in our prime years, we couldn't go full tilt in all those competitions.
No, we got
it's going to cost you either a little bit in all of them, or it's going to cost you big in the main.
In the last season of White Hart Lane, which is probably our best team ever, we went out in the group stage in the Champions League. Yeah, that's what happened,
and that's probably helped in the league as well.
That probably helped in the long term, yeah.
So I don't really care much for
the Conference League. But do you think we can win it? Should we win it?
Well, we should win it, but I don't think we will.
Never will.
I think we'll get to a League Cup. I think we'll get to the League Cup final.
League Cup final.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
All right,
and finish 6th.
So we are. So, but you don't.
How many goals do you think Kane and Son are going to score
together?
No, each.
Each. Okay, so Kane's on 1 now, and Son's on 4. With league goals or competitions? League goals. I'm going to say Kane is going to hit 21 league goals.
Really?
Yeah. I reckon he's going to
20 goals.
He's going to get 20 goals, and I reckon Son hits 19.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
All right.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, I said at the beginning of the season, I said Kane to get 17
Premier League goals.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to just stick with that.
Stick with
that. That was my prediction.
He's going to hit 20 for the first time.
So he's on 4. It's 5 now, isn't it? 5 goals.
4,
now.
I think. 4.
Is it 4? I thought it was
4.
5.
4.
Okay, so 4. He's probably going to get. He's probably going to get 13 or 14. 13
or 14.
Yeah.
Oh really? That you only would think 10 more. So you think Kane's going to outscore Son from now to the end of the season?
Only because that was my prediction at the beginning of the season. I'm
going to stick by
it. I'm going to stick
and
by
Lucas?
that. And Lucas? I'm not going to answer that one.
Yeah, do you think he'll hit 10?
He'll probably score around 8 goals. 8 Premier League goals.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Has he got a Premier League goal this year?
Yeah.
Did he? Who did he score against?
No, maybe he hasn't.
It was the own goal against Villa that wasn't given to him.
I'm counting that one. Can I count that one?
Don't remember. He scored in the Europa League, Conference League.
Yeah.
Don't think he scored in the Premier League. That's
I
Conference
can't
League.
Think. If he has, it's only one.
Is anyone in the comments? Did he score in the Premier League? Anyway.
Yeah.
But are we going to win a trophy under Conte? That's right.
Burnley,
yeah. So are we going to win a trophy under Conte? You said no for Mourinho, which you were right about, I think.
Yeah.
Which we could have if we stayed.
I'm not sure.
You're not
I'm
sure?
really not sure. And it's not because Conte's not a good manager. He's an elite manager. It's just the setup of the whole club is just not right, is it? I think there's also a little bit of a. Don't you think we are slightly cursed?
Yes, we are slightly cursed.
We carry a victim mentality with this club, and I do think that translates on the pitch. We've got the record amount of penalty shootout defeats in a row. I think we lost 8 penalty shootouts in a row at one point.
Yeah,
that isn't something like that. Has got nothing to do with a manager. That is just something that comes down to the
mentality of the team,
the mentality of the club. I'd say, and I think there's still a bit of a hangover with the club at the moment.
There is a mentality.
And I think there is something institutionally flawed with the club. I think that, And I think whatever manager you bring in, it's going to be very difficult to change that.
That's what Poch tried to. He knew about it.
And he knew that psychological thing.
He kept saying about psychological.
Yeah.
He said about the fans. He said the fans are too scared about success. He said they're scared of success, the fans.
The
and
fans
it's absolutely
play a part,
right.
the club plays a part.
Yeah.
Obviously, the manager plays a huge part. But I do think at the club, at the root level, there is a problem with the club. And I just think that concerns me. But as I said before, whatever happens, it's going to be good, because if he doesn't win trophies, then we're all going to get Levy out.
Pochettino used to say there's fear, there's too much fear in the fan base.
Well, you can even see it when you go to games. You can actually feel the fear. I mean, I've travelled the last 10 years. I've travelled all around. I've gone to a lot of grounds, and I'd say I've never felt. I mean, obviously it's my club. It might be it's subjective, right?
Yeah.
But you can feel there's a different energy, atmosphere in the club. When you watch Spurs and they're a goal up, you can feel this collective anxiety.
That's the thing.
You
That's
know
what I
I'm
used to
talking
say.
about, right? And it's not just because it's my club and you want to see. You can feel it. It's palpable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that energy isn't just with the fans. That's also it
Translates
onto the pitch. And I think that's why we've lost 8 FA Cup semi-finals in a row. It's why we lost a record amount of penalty shootouts in a row, which should be a flip of a coin, really.
Yeah.
Penalty shootout.
It's never for Tottenham.
Never for Tottenham. Why Spursy? You know, these are all for me institutional things. So, can Conte completely change the complexion of a club on an institutional level? I'm not sure. I'd love it. And I think if we do win a trophy, that could be the release that kind of unlocks all of that, like Pandora's box. You know, it could do that, and I think we need that. But whether he's going to do it or not, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, I think that's that for today. Oh, we've got a super chat from
Don't forget super
Carl
chat.
Patrick Vineyard. Big up, Carl. He says,
"Oh, when's the fight coming?"
"Oh yeah, the fight is in the offing. We're going to.
There's going to be a boxing match here between Sim and
Carl Patrick
Vineyard.
Yeah, and you're going to referee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your money on?
Yeah, if I'm reffing.
He says, we will win the Conference League and the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, boys.
Oh my God.
Come on, you
He
Spurs.
spent too much time in the vineyard, that boy.
Oh, definitely. Do you know, what would you do if we won the treble of domestic cups, the treble of cups this
What
year?
would I do? If we won the treble, I'll get Levy tattooed.
Yeah? Look, we've already had one with Brian Daigle,
Yeah.
but you're committing to that.
Yeah, but I choose where I have it on the body.
You choose. So wait. If
Only this season.
So if we won the Conference League,
Yeah.
FA Cup and League Cup this season,
Yeah.
you're getting a Daniel Levy tattoo.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll put that out there.
Wow. All right.
We're not going to win. Listen, we're not going to win the treble, mate.
Look. I'm just saying. We've already had
Actually,
one
now
with
I've
Brian.
said that,
Yeah.
it's what it's likely to happen. It's a little bit like waiting for a bus.
I just can't wait till
like
we've won the League Cup and the FA Cup, then we're in the Conference League final
gonna be
against
squeaky bum.
some random team, and you're just like, oh, please don't win, please. You're just like cheering the other team. That's what's going to happen. Oh my God.
dear.
Oh, you've done it now. Everyone's
There
on
we
your
go.
case
What
now.
you have to make a little bit. You have to put yourself out there.
If we win the treble,
Well, yeah. All right.
if we win the treble, I'll shave my head. Is that
Come
boring?
on. No, that grows back in a couple of weeks. Anyway, in the comment section, think of something for Sim to do if we win the treble.
Brian Daigle's in the comments.
In the comments. Brian, what are you saying about that?
No, John, I didn't think we were going to get. We were getting Conte, but you don't think we're getting the treble. But
Look, Spurs and treble; those words do not go together. I'm sorry. Unless miracles.
I'm so desperate for us.
I'm happy.
I'm even more
Look,
desperate.
we just need one.
And
Right?
if we win one, what?
Yeah, I'll
are
be
you
happy.
gonna-
No, I'm
you
not.
Don't. All right, so we've got a tattoo potentially in the offing
Yeah.
with Mr. John Cooper. Well, what is this with this channels and tattoo pledges? I don't know what it is, but
Brian
we'll see what
started the
happens.
trend. I feel pretty confident about that one.
It says Sim getting more a sexual tattoo.
There we go.
So my mum
Oh,
would kill
good
me if I
shout.
got a tattoo.
Just don't tell her.
I wouldn't be able to get a Jewish burial.
Just get it on your ass.
Get my. I'll get it like a tramp stamp, like
Yeah, tramp
as
stamp.
a more sexual.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
Brilliant. All right,
Good stuff.
John, it's been
Yeah.
a pleasure as always. Another hot
Yeah.
spa. Been a brilliant episode. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Good debrief on Nuno and looking at Conte. And as always, the casual Kane and Lucas debates. Love
Of
it
course,
as
we'll
always.
go on forever.
We can
That-
go
we're
on
never gonna
forever,
stop with that.
exactly.
Never gonna stop with
I hope everyone enjoyed watching another episode of the Hotspot. We're going to be back next week, so tune in for that. We've got loads of content coming up over the weekend, so stay tuned for loads of unpopular opinions, which are about to be, which will be out tomorrow, and a Tottenham update later on today. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy the international break. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Never thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I counting days until a second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around, start a top of yours. It's all you need to do.